guys, how you doing? Well, this weekend in Australia is Australia Day. This is like our version of the 4th of July for you Americans, or Canada Day for you Canadians, because that's who watches me. If you are from somewhere else, hey, put a comment below, let me know where you're from. But this is where we celebrate what it is to be Australian, generally by having a barbecue, a get-together where we're going to be eating great Aussie food like sausage rolls, meat pies, and most likely listening to the Triple J Hottest 100. Now you can listen to that as well if you want. The link is below. But the one thing that we do enjoy is Australian desserts. There's a bit of a fight between us and New Zealand about pavlova, but there is one thing that is definitely Australian, and that is a Lamington. Now the one thing that I was doing to research before this video is I actually looked up on Wikipedia about Lamingtons, just to give you guys a bit of a background. The one thing that disturbed me more than anything when I was reading this is it says Lamingtons became widely known outside of Australia due to their use by popular YouTube vlogger Natalie Tran. Now, if you know me from my other channel, I'm not a big fan of Natalie Tran's work. So let's change this. I think we need to change this to Dessert Junkie. They are popularly known for their awesomeness when they're made by MsDessertJunkie. This is how you make Australia Day Lamington.
Alright, so to get a Lamington started, essentially you need a sponge. Now the easiest way to cut up sponge, if you've never done cutting up of sponges for cakes or even Lamingtons for example, is freeze it. So I'm going to wrap some sponge that I've bought in cling film, and I'm going to double wrap it just to make sure that there's no moisture inside, and allow it to freeze in my freezer for at least half an hour. That'll allow me to cut it nice and finely into a perfect size, which is generally around 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters. What you're going to need next is 2 bowls, because we're going to be doing green Lamingtons and yellow Lamingtons in the spirit of the green and gold Aussie. So make sure that you sift your icing sugar and put around 1 cup in each bowl. For the lemon ones, I'm going to, guess what, flavor them with lemon juice. So if you squeeze a lemon and get the lemon juice out, and use that to mix up your icing sugar to make the yellow Lamington. Also make sure you remove those seeds before you mix it. And then just use a spatula to mix it all together till it's well combined. And then it's time to add in some food colouring. When you are working with food colouring, it's really important that you do a little bit, mix, little bit, mix, because you can't always take away the colour, but you can slowly introduce it into your icing. Once that's all well combined, it's time to start on the green. Now, lime doesn't really taste very good for Lamington, so I'm just going to use some butter and make a butter icing. So that's just some melted butter that I've done in the microwave. And I'm going to make sure that that is well combined and then add in some green colouring. Now with the butter, if you don't want it too buttery, feel free to add in some water. You can add milk. I just find sometimes butter icing is just too strong butter. Time to the green. Now you've done your icing. Now it's time to cut your sponge. So I'm using around 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters. And because I've frozen this, it holds its shape so much better. As you can see, there's no crumbs coming out everywhere. So cut up your sponge to the size you want. And then you need to trim your sponge. Now, I find that just the outside is a little bit hard and the icing doesn't stick to it. So you're going to need to cut that off too. Now it's time to apply the icing. So I found a pastry brush was the easiest. Essentially paint the outside of these and then slowly work your way around. You are going to end up with icing on your fingers. It's just going to happen. So once you've got enough icing on there, pop it in your coconut. I'm using a really coarse grated desiccated coconut. I just found it worked better and it's made the colour stand out a bit better. I know it sounds really weird, but that's all you have to do, guys. Repeat this until you've used up all your sponge. Make sure that you use an even colour of green and gold because you want these to be Aussie, 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 oi, 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 Lamingtons. And enjoy. Thank you so much for watching me. I really appreciate the support I've been getting over the last few weeks. Have an awesome Australia Day. See you next Wednesday.